Welcome to the 29th episode of the It's Been Said podcast. Each show is dedicated to conversations on leadership as we further SAI's mission to support, encourage, and develop Iowa's educational leaders and learners. I'm your host, SAI Executive Director Lisa Remy, and joining me today is SAI Associate Professional Learning Director Al Neppl. Al joined us in August of 2024, and one of his primary roles is to oversee our annual conference. I'm excited to chat with him about our upcoming 50th annual conference and what we can look forward to as we celebrate this milestone anniversary. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, Lisa, thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. So glad to have you as part of our team, Al.
Oh, you know what? These months have already flown by. It's been great. I'm so blessed.
Yeah, well, we are as well. So before we launch into the annual conference, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and why you chose SAI to be on our team?
Yeah, and this goes back to really about this same time last year. It was in December, and I knew I was in my 33rd year in public education, and thinking about, as we round into that second semester of the school year, what's my intention in year 34 and beyond? And so I started to think about things and contemplate things a little bit. I'd been a teacher for 13 years. I'd been an assistant principal or principal for 16 years. And then the last 4 years previous to this year, I was a director of professional learning and leadership development for Ankeny Schools. And so I had a variety of experiences. And then when I think about SAI or why SAI's team joining the team, I was a person who engaged in the SAI learning opportunities throughout my career. I served on rep council for the Heartland area as well too. I attended the annual conference, I believe, every year since 2004 as well. And then really when this job opportunity popped up, it seemed to align, in my opinion, perfectly with my background, some of the experiences I had. And honestly, the opportunity to work with the staff and you at SAI, that's just a bonus.
Yeah, I still feel like I'm new, even though it's, my third year, so I can't really consider myself new, but I too think being able to work with this team, it's a bonus. It's just fun day in and day out. So yeah, it's a great place to be. All right, so tell our listeners what excites you about having our annual conference under your primary responsibility.
Yeah, first off, from the very beginning, the job description, the interview process, it was really clear that obviously this was going to be one of my primary roles in this new position. But it's particularly exciting to me, honestly, because it combines two of my passions. And some people know this about me, but one of my passions is I believe that there are avenues to high quality professional learning. Okay. And I think it's great to be able to be a part of SAI and provide that for leaders across the state. My second thing, kind of one of my obsessions a little bit, is I'm just obsessed with attention to detail. And so when I think about the attention to detail needed to project manage my way through something of this scale, I see it as a challenge, but I love that part. So it combined two things that I'm passionate about. So again, a perfect fit.
So in case our members haven't heard yet, what is this year's theme and why was it selected?
Yeah, so our theme, it's simple in one ways, 50 years of learning, inspiration, and innovation. And learning, inspiration, and innovation, when we think back to, hosting a conference of some magnitude for all those years, we've always had a learning component, and we want to inspire our members as well too. And we want our members to be able to share some of the innovative things, or even guest speakers share innovative things that have happened. And so I wanted to honor the past and what's been done through the conference in making this suggestion, but also leave us room for continued learning, inspiration, innovation in the future too. And I think when we shared that, and I shared that among members and among our own team here, it kind of rose to the top. And we love keeping that word 50th in front of everybody as well too.
I love that connection to the past and, looking forward to, the past always most often anyway, really helps shape our future or can shape our future. And so I just really appreciate that connection, Al.
Yeah, I think it's really fitting, and we'll be able to just bring that theme in throughout the 2.5 days of our overall conference as well too.
For sure. So as we look ahead to our 50th anniversary of hosting an annual conference for Iowa administrator, what stands out as the primary goal for you?
Well, honestly, I don't want to screw it up. Okay. It's 50 years. This is the 50th. And so, yeah, I want everything to go well. But seriously, we want to again provide learning opportunities and networking. Those are probably the two biggest things, right? In addition to that, in my personal opinion, as a former school administrator and attending the conference, with the proximity of our conference so close to the start of the school year, I hope it provides our attendees with some inspirational things from our speakers or from that they hear from colleagues to help them kick off a new school year in their own building or in their own district as well too. And I think that's kind of the perfect timing in some ways of our conference being in early August.
I have also attended for many years, as you said you have, and that was always something as I was really thinking about what should my first staff meeting look like when I was in a building level role. SAI always helped provide some content for me, a structure at times. I appreciate that as one of your goals, and you continue thinking that, how that can support our leaders in the state.
Absolutely.
If anything, what will be different about this year's conference?
Well, I think again, when we think about the 50th annual conference, I hope that our attendees notice some extra ways that we're celebrating. Okay. But in the interest of keeping that kind of to ourselves, that's all the more I'm going to say about that right now. We want to pique your curiosity.
Absolutely. So then what can our attendees look forward to remaining as it has in the past, what they've seen in previous years?
Yeah, particularly in my first year and working to organize this, it's important for me to keep some of the structure, and the overall purpose the same for the conference. It's the 50th for a reason. It's been a very successful conference, standing the test of time and even significant changes in education in our profession over the years. It's still been a very successful conference with large attendance of our membership as well too. So a lot of the things are going to seem similar, and then you might start to see maybe something different that hasn't been offered before. Those will be the smaller tweaks that occur potentially this year, and then really using our professional learning committee and our rep council and groups like that to think about, okay, the 51st conference, okay, in a quote, sort of a new era, what could be really different potentially?
As always, people get excited about our keynote speakers. So share a little bit about the speakers that you've now selected. Why did they stand out as the best fit for this conference?
Yeah, and Lisa, because our offices are close by each other, I'm extremely excited. And I don't know if it's because I'm a rookie doing this, but I'm going to start with the two keynotes first. Our first opening keynote, we're going to start our morning Wednesday, August 6th with Michael Bungay-Stainer. And some of you might be familiar with Michael and his work, but he's the author of The Coaching Habit, The Advice Trap, and several other books. And Michael, is going to talk to us a lot about being coach-like in our work as school administrators. The title of his opening keynote session is The 5-Question Leader. And you can look it up. He has done that presentation before, but it's also within his books as well, too. I think he's going to be great for our audience. I guess you'd say his background is Australia. He's from Australia, but he lives in Canada. So he's an Australian Canadian as well too, but he will engage our audience. He'll be funny, extremely engaging, humorous, witty, all at the same time. And I think that hour with him is going to go by really fast for everybody. And then graciously, Michael has agreed to also serve as a thought leader, so he'll follow up with the session. And then we'll actually close our day on Wednesday with Greg Offner. And Greg is the author of a book called The Tip Jar Culture. And he describes himself as a workplace experience strategist. Big name there, big title there, but he's really a one of a kind keynote, I would say. Greg, in a large part of his career, he spent his career as a dueling piano performance artist, playing the piano in a piano bar and taking the requests from people there that evening and turning those requests into entertaining events for people in the room. And from his years of doing that and his years in the business world, he's created his own framework called the tip jar culture of leadership as well too. And I think it'll be highly engaging again. I think it'll be humorous. There'll be music in the room. There might be singing as well. If you can imagine 1,400 people singing along, just like might happen in a piano bar. I think it's really going to be a great way for us to close the day on Wednesday. And people will leave for the day with just a big smile on their face. And then I do want to highlight our pre-conference. And really, when I was thinking about the pre-conference, we really wanted to zero in on some of the big things that we know that our members, our principals and superintendents are wrestling with, and that is, student behavior. And so we are bringing in Dr. Jessica Minahan. And Dr. Minahan has been in Iowa, I believe, several times, maybe at a few of the AAs and some of the professional learning opportunities that they provide. So she'll be our pre-conference facilitator on Tuesday, August 5th. She's the author of the Behavior Code Companion. She is a real-life behavior analyst. She is in schools every day when she's not speaking somewhere. And so what she'll bring to the content that day are examples directly from the classroom, where she's been called in to potential behavior situations, significant behavior situations, and she works alongside the school staff. Very similar to ways that we have people in Iowa doing that too, supporting our schools through the AAs. But I think, again, she has a dry sense of humor, and she'll put in stories that we can all relate to as well too. And I think that'll be a very informative day. And then Jessica is always also coming back to us then on the first full day, and she's a thought leader as well. And her topic will be revealing some of the blind spots, that the overlooked strategies to increase engagement and reduce oppositional behavior within our students in our classrooms as well.
We're pausing for a brief commercial break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Matt Carver, Legal Services Director at SAI. One of the benefits you receive as a member of SAI is to have a privileged conversation with me about your pressing legal issues. While I don't replace your district's legal counsel, I do my best to provide friendly and practical advice for you as a member. If you are a member, simply call the SAI office at 515-267-1115 and ask for Matt. If you aren't a current member, join or renew today at www.sai-iowa.org.
And now, back to our conversation on leadership.
We're closing out the conference with our very well-known, right, Matt Carver?
Yes. Gosh, how could I forget? On Thursday, Matt Carver, about 11:15, he'll take the stage, and as always, in his humorous way, he's going to walk us through some of the current legislation or policies that are out there, either from the state or federal level. And he always builds in a story or two or three, maybe, along the way. And again, that time just flies by because Matt really does engage all of our attendees because it's so relevant to their work as well, too, we know.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of our members may be interested in presenting as part of our Thursday Promising Practices session. So tell our listeners a little more about the purpose of these sessions and then how members can submit proposals.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of the conference and something that we always get great feedback on. It's the opportunity for our own members and people that they collaborate with to submit proposals, honestly, just like the title says, promising practices, things that our colleagues are trying in their buildings, in their classrooms, in their districts, that they're finding success with, and sometimes even having some struggles with as well, too. But they're stepping into this leadership of facilitating and bringing learning to our membership. Last year, I know we had a good amount of submissions, and so it's out there right now, the ability to submit a proposal. Along with that, when it has been promoted already, there are submission guidelines that kind of tells you who we're looking for, a rough parameter for, the kinds of topics that we might be looking for as well too. I've been in that place before. I presented in that capacity. It's just twofold. It makes you feel good as a leader, but then it also makes you feel good that you can share things with your colleagues. And honestly, often there's dialogue during those sessions where you're learning from each other as well too. If you haven't seen that, we're going to promote that heavily again after in the months of January and February. So by the time you hear this, hopefully you've seen the opportunity to submit a proposal. If you're a superintendent and you could be the person submitting a proposal, but maybe you know of a principal or some teacher leaders with a principal that are doing some of those really great things or things that might be inspirational or innovation, such as our title is as well too. We'd love to see those proposals.
Yeah, you mentioned it's out there. So where might I go find that?
Yeah, actually, you can find it on our website as well too. And like I said, it'll continue to be sent out directly to our members.
So last year, we used the Whova app for attendees to view sessions and have everything conference related on their phone. I know I appreciate the electronic option myself. So for attendees who previously only referenced the paper program, why should they even consider downloading the app?
Yeah, I love it because you so eloquently pronounced the name of the app, the Whova app, because I used it when I attended the conference, and I know one of my first days here, my good friend Dana informed me that it wasn't the Hova app, it was the Whova app, and so now I believe we're on the same page. Really, what I can tell you is that we have noticed that we've significantly increased the number of people who've used the app the last 2 years. In fact, even our representative from Whova has told me that the number of people who are accessing the app during the conference is higher than the industry average, which is a great metric for us because we want to increase that further. And I can tell you it's our goal to continue to migrate more and more content onto the app. So it is really going to become really where you want to go to. And we wouldn't be different than a lot of other conferences in that avenue of pursuing that. There is a desktop web page that it has the exact same thing that you could, if you're in your office, if you want to access the Whova app, you can do it through the web too. But the app, obviously, you're going to have that with you on your phone at the conference. That's the best way to really be informed. I can tell you in the future, we'll begin to evaluate the purpose and the need for the paper booklet. Not saying it would go away completely, but it would be a change for our membership. And so we're going to just explore that a little bit over the next couple of years as well too. Because in some ways there's a little bit of redundancy, right? And we want to be able to just be efficient with how we're communicating out. And really, I think it's easier if we just have one place for everybody to get their information.
Yeah. Always thinking about trying to make it easier for our members. So thank you for that, Al. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So I imagine some people, as they're listening to this, are thinking, okay, it's time for me to get registered. So share the timeline for when members can register for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, we do know that there are people eager, but I can tell you that our registration timeline is going to be very similar to the past. It's going to be right around that May 1st timeline. That happens to coordinate when we also start to encourage people to renew their memberships at about that same time. So when we send out our communications about conference registration, you're also probably going to get your communication about, hey, it's time to renew. And I think in some cases, some of you might agree, some of our business offices like to process those things at the same time. But so it'll again be around that May 1st. But what I can tell our members is that it is getting real close to a time you want to start thinking about your hotel rooms. Okay. And through my work and in the past, Tracy's work, we secure rooms at, I believe, 7 total hotels. And so right after the first of the year here in 2025, we're going to release the list of the hotels. And then we're going to also include what we call the booking link, because we really want you to book your hotel through the SAI negotiated price. And so that you're accessing the rooms that we have reserved in those 7 hotels as well too. That would be your best option, I can tell you, because I'm fully aware, and the hotels know what the going rates are between the different conversations that I've had with them. And so that'll be coming out in January. You'll be able to see that. And I know some of you have already been asking if you could make those hotel reservations, and that'll be coming real soon. So you can guarantee that you have that part reserved.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, Al, I've asked you lots of questions about conference, but is there anything else you'd like to share that maybe I didn't think about asking that we haven't covered yet?
The conference thing, the only thing I would say is that, if you're a person who regularly attends the conference, but you got a colleague in your district that maybe hasn't regularly attended or maybe has never attended, maybe encourage them, to come along too. And I can say, I'm sure that to go by yourself, I could see how that could be intimidating for such a large conference. So if you could maybe bring along a colleague for your from your district, or even maybe somebody that maybe if you're earlier in your career, maybe somebody from your cohort that you did your grad work with that is interested in coming, but maybe never has. Team up with them, and it's always better to learn with other people as well too. So I would encourage you to do that. And just one last plug for those promising practice, the RFP process for that. If you haven't seen the communications for that or can't find that on our website, reach out to me directly at aneppl@sai-iowa.org, and I can get you the direct link. It's a Google form. It's just a few questions. It doesn't take too long, but we want you to think through your ideas, but we will work with you on those proposals as well too.
And one last time, what are the dates of the pre-conference and conference?
Yeah, pre-conference is Tuesday, August 5th. And then the conference, the first official day is Wednesday, August 6th. And then we wrap up our day on Thursday, August 7th.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Al. Thanks for all your hard work. And, I know one of the things that surprised me when I came into this role is all the planning that happens and how early the planning starts. And so you now are living that and realize.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, things are overlapping actually for me as I start to think about 2026 as well too.
Yeah.
It's great. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
So appreciative of having you again on our staff and for taking on this primary responsibility. Gosh, I'm just looking forward to it. It sounds, those keynoters sound amazing. So can't wait.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode. Before we wrap up, don't forget to check out our upcoming School Administrators of Iowa events: Virtual Law Conference, Take 30 Strategies for Keeping Classified Staff, the Women in Leadership Conference, and many more. Visit our website at sai-iowa.org to see the full calendar. Registration is quick and easy, and don't miss your chance to connect, learn, and grow with fellow Iowa administrators. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and making a difference.